Welcome to a 5-minute first impression video for AVOWED. This is a video format I've never done before, but I think it can work for first impression early review videos because a lot of the stuff is still under question as progression can change how good or bad things actually are. Played the game for about 6 or 7 hours, so please bear in mind that it's just a first impression video, not a full review. My thoughts could change for the full review after playing through the game. Let's talk about the art style first. How someone perceives art style is entirely subjective, so if I say that for me AVOWED art style is like a 12-year-old girl created it and they don't like it at all, and you say that it's like a 12-year-old girl created it and really like the Disney art style, no one is really wrong or right. Art style preference is subjective, simple as that. As long as the game stays consistently wholesome in its art style and it doesn't break away from it, which is the case for AVOWED, in the end it's about the preference. For me, this art style is too much. Even stealth kills look like we are supporting LGBT. Check out the presets as well. It's so effeminate. Looks to me like a Last of Us coloring book for kids. On the flip side, such art style creates a pretty awesome looking colorful world with beautiful scenery, so that's a big plus. Writing is something Obsidian is known for, but in the case of AVOWED so far it's pretty mediocre, feels neutered for the lack of a better word. It doesn't explain some stuff, but maybe it's going to later. For example, we are a Dirian envoy, we are born as godlike and in the next sentence the royal court took us under their wing to serve as an envoy. How? Why? Maybe just because we are a godlike race? At least it could have said that. No clue how we got to be an envoy, but maybe that is hidden for a reason. Main story is a classic story about corruption. Something is going on with the world where corruption is progressing and destroying everything it touches. Unknown voices guiding us in a fight against it. Haven't seen much of the main story yet to have a more significant opinion as it can go in so many directions from where I'm at. Gods of Fiora are quite something, and if AVOWED utilizes them properly it could be something epic. So don't take the basic story as a negative or anything like that from this video because it could go in so many ways. It's just that the corruption main story is overused already like a 50-year-old hooker. Hard to get hard for it. Dialogue is also quite mediocre. Nothing bad or anything like that, but just bland. Like robots are delivering sentences. Very little emotion behind anything, which is fine if it's only a couple characters, but if most are like that, then it becomes really difficult to get attached to what is being said. Facial animations are great though. Characters in dialogue look fantastic in my opinion, but the delivery is bland. Maybe it wouldn't feel so bland if writing managed to capture attention, but it doesn't. Overall, writing failed so far to get any emotion and attachment out of me. I just don't care about anything or anyone. Combat has much more positives than the writing, thankfully. Best thing about it is how each army is its own entity, so the player can combine whatever they want. Grimoire in one hand, pistol in the other. Shield in one hand, wand in the other. 2 wands, 2 pistols, 2 axes. Weapon categories are two-handed, one-handed and ranged weapons. From ranged weapons there are bows, pistols and arquebus so far from what I've found. Combat is definitely more RPG inclined, especially if playing on higher difficulties. I like that, we really need to pay attention and make full use of everything at our disposal, which creates a nice strategic layer. Don't get me wrong, plenty of action, but it does preserve the strategic element. There's good hit impact, stun gauge that fills up depending on what weapon type is used, third person mode, which isn't great but just serviceable. Plenty to like here for combat from the player's perspective. Unfortunately, where it fucks up are the enemies. Enemy group design is solid, especially when fighting against Zorips, as they come in many forms, from priests, slashers, scouts, tanks. That's not the problem. Problems are enemies themselves. Lots of the same issues as Whaleguard. They have 2 attacks in their arsenal, can slide way too much while attacking, there's plenty of clunky movements, and there is that stupid nonsensical mechanic where one random enemy is chosen to wield vastly more upgraded gear than the rest of the enemy group. Random bowman, scout, whatever. Nothing special about them, they just have far better gear, so when the other enemies get cleared quickly, the highly geared one becomes a bullet sponge that can take some time to take down early on. So combat pacing and rhythm is all over the place. Not even gonna talk about stealth because it's as basic as it gets, disappointing. Character progression seems decent so far, but I'm too early to assess it properly. Nice number of weapon types with many dual wield options complemented with a decent number of perks and high focus on equipment progression with special gear that provides bonuses. Could be a good system later in the game, but I have to get first to the point to play around with it and try out different things to see how it works in its entirety. Interesting thing to mention is how map encounters are structured. Enemy groups are distributed all over the map, with each part hosting enemies of a particular level, kinda like MMORPGs, but with almost each fight being a proper one, meaning no incredibly easy encounters where everything gets destroyed in 2 spellcasts, at least not early on. So to be able to progress through certain map parts, players need to work on their character by upgrading the gear. Interesting concept that could work rather well in a game like this with only meaningful encounters, but we'll see later on. Overall, AVOWED early on is far from impressive, a bland game that shines at times, mostly in combat. Unfortunately, it completely failed to connect me to the world, characters and quest NPCs. Doesn't look promising so far. I'm hoping for a story to pick it up soon and for gods to start interfering with everything, cause there is huge potential for such events in the world of Iora, though I am worried that the obsidian that we knew and loved is gone. AVOWED just isn't it, so far from what I've experienced. Anyway, thanks for watching and stay tuned for more stuff.